Let's go back to that story around security at train stations. Now, the Transport Minister, Fikile Mbalula, saying today there's a new transport plan to make sure that facilities at train stations are no longer vandalised. Makhosini Mgitywa, I'm hoping can hear me now, the spokesperson for PRASA. Makhosini, good afternoon to you. I hope you're with us.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Only fair if you hear the question that I'm actually asking. Okay, at this stage, we have seen a huge amount of damage. As I understand it, during much of the lockdown, for various reasons, there actually weren't any security guards there at all.
Look, here is the reality. The security contracts that we had before were deemed irregular by the public protector and the auditor general. So we couldn't in good conscience continue with them. But also we were not getting much value out of them. Up to 2019, that 3 years, PRASA lost assets to the value of over R1 billion, and those security companies were in place. So those contracts, we allowed them to run out, others were terminated, and we didn't have then, additional capacity to add to the capacity that we already have within PRASA Protection Services. So we relied on the South African Police Service and the agreement that we had with them. But COVID-19 happened and the lockdown happened, and the police had to reprioritize their resources to enforcing the lockdown and also saving lives, and we can't fault them on that. That unfortunately left the network unprotected, and vandals and saboteurs took advantage of that.
Okay, so now we have the new plan from the Transport Minister. I'm trying not to be facetious, Makhosini, but it involves putting guards where you wanted to have guards already.
Look, we are now deploying security personnel, protection officers that are, employees of PRASA, that are taking the command directly from PRASA, and we're going to be deploying them in strategic areas as part of the plan that the minister was unveiling, so that those lines and corridors that we have the capacity to run are protected and not vandalized, so that really the people who matter the most, our customers, the commuters, continue to have a service provided to them.
Okay, there's also the suspicion that some of this is an inside job, right? People inside PRASA are involved in this.
Look, there's no doubt about that. There is an investigation that was instituted by the previous administrator, and because there was a submission, an internal submission that was seen by very few people who were in very high positions. And on the night that submission was signed, it was already leaked to one of the security companies. So we do have also instances where internally we would discuss that a certain line or corridor must be reopened, and that corridor would come under attack. So there's no doubt about there being, an internal force within PRASA that is working against PRASA. But the entire process of cleaning up PRASA entails that removing those people out of the system, and some we have already been able to exit them, like the 4 officials who were involved in the irregular tenders of security.
Okay, I mean, all of this is very important. What it really boils down to, and what most people probably want me to ask you, is when are trains going to be up and running in all of the systems and all of the railway routes that you actually have? And I imagine the answer is probably 2 or 3 billion rand from now.
No, you're not very far from the truth. In fact, the value of the damage to infrastructure in the past several years, including 2020, is estimated at 4 billion rands. But here is a mitigating factor. PRASA sits with 20 billion rands of unspent capital expenditure budget. So if that money were to be spent on repairing and renewing, modernizing the infrastructure, you would be injecting money into the economy. You're going to create jobs. You're going to support SMMEs. You are going to leave the country with an infrastructure that is modern, that is going to work towards growing the economy and also growing tourism. So if we do the right things now, if we take the right decisions now, the situation will be saved. But if we cannot spend the money, as has been the case, that PRASA accumulated so much money because the people there were either unable or unwilling to spend it. If we continue on that trajectory, really the situation would be bleak. But if we were going to be able to fix the problems inside PRASA, so PRASA can work, its supply chain management and all its divisions and departments can work very well, then we'll be in a much better situation next year and in a few years to come.
Makhosini Mgitywa, I really do appreciate the time. Thank you very much indeed. Spokesperson for the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa.